to? Beans. Are you hiding? Beans, 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 beans. Oh, there you are. Hi, Beans. Beans. I can't think of the Irish for come here. Irish Chuck. Tarnum. Ansha. Tar Ansha. Got it. Got it. Got it, Grandad. Got it. I've forgotten it again. Can I just Tar Ansha. Gee, cause why can I not remember that word? Ansha. Oh, good boy. Yes, he's tarring Ansha. That's not correct grammar. Whatever, Beans. You ready? You ready for today's podcast? Are you ready? Let's say hi to the cameras. Oh, you're so glamorous. Yum, 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 yum. Yum, yum. You love it. He loves it. No, he doesn't love it. Toshi. Ansha. Toshi, Ansha. No. I'm the worst. Elegant, refined, beautiful. Yes, all of those things. Should I be looking over there all the time or at you? At you, I think. What do you think, dear friends? Don't look under the desk. It's inadvisable. Oh my God, I have a lot to talk about. Oh, hang on, let me just get some show notes. This is my show note. So this is the showrunner, guys. All these things. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? I have nowhere to put my show notes. Here. Wow, that's convenient. Oh, my throat is now a claggy mess. Now, time Reaganish. Is today going to be the Irish podcast? I don't know Irish properly, lads. But nobody knows that except me and my Irish teacher and the person who graded my papers. I'm not ready. Hello and welcome to the Babbles Travelling Yarns podcast. I am Grace. You can find me all over the internet as Vanawillemiel, which will be down in the show notes if you can't spell it, and also as Babbles Yarns, my tiny yarn dyeing business. I also have the Babbles retreats, and all the information on the retreats, links to my podcast, links to my Etsy shop, and everything can be found at www.babblestravellingyarns.com. Boom! So I've got a lot of things to talk about today, and some of them are crazy fun and exciting. I've got a giveaway, I've got a cow, I have got one spinning FO. I'm so proud of myself. I have got a whip, which then leads into some serious talk. Some very serious talk. And if you don't want to listen to it, that's totally fine. But it is very important for Ireland. It's a very important thing that's happening, which will directly affect my life as a woman living in Ireland today. That's going to be at the end of the episode. But let's start off with some fun things. I've got a lot of fun things. So my retreat, the Babbles retreat, is happening this weekend coming. So today is the 15th, it's Sunday the 15th of April. So my retreat is happening on Friday the 20th of April. Oh, I'm so scared. No, I'm not. I'm really excited. I can't wait to see everybody. Everything's organized. Everything's done, basically. All I have to do is go and enjoy myself and eat lots of food. Spend some money on some beautiful yarns and just enjoy the company of my fellow knitters. So I am so excited. So if you aren't already coming, if you haven't got a space, that's totally fine. If you're in Ireland and you're interested in coming along, there is an open day on Saturday. So the open day is so let me just rephrase. Where is the retreat? So the retreat is in Ballyglass Country House in the Glen of Aherlow, just outside Tipperary town, in County Tipperary, southern Tipperary. So it is about a 5-minute taxi 5 to 10 minute taxi from Limerick Junction if you're interested in coming down for the day from Dublin. It is a 2-hour drive from Cork, an hour drive from Limerick, 2.5-hour drive, 2 to 3 hours depending on traffic from Dublin itself. Very close to Waterford. It is kind of central in the south, very central. And what's happening? So at 11 a.m. kind of the doors open. We are going to be there from breakfast. We're going to be chilling out and knitting, or the people who are on the retreat. We've got some really, really cool people coming to sell their yarn. We have on the so this is on the Saturday, the 21st of April. The yarn market will be open at 12 p.m. so noon. We're going to have, my yarn is going to be there for sale. We're also going to have Bear and Sheep's clothing. Bernie's coming down from Belfast with her husband Derek, and he's going to be there. I'm really excited to meet him finally. I met Bernie in Edinburgh and we just got on. Oh my God, it's on fire. Hopefully we won't set anything on fire. Nothing is guaranteed. Or we probably won't be invited back to that place, so no fires. Okay, lots of gin though. Gin-tastic. I'm so excited. So we've also got Laura of the Woolly Wolverine is coming down, and she was just talking about her on her podcast. I was just watching it this morning and she's so lovely. I love her. I hope you bring those socks, Laura. I really want to see the yarn as it's knit up. It makes me really crazy happy. So that's really, really lovely. Yeah, who else is coming? Who else is coming? So I've got 2 bag makers. So Kate, Hawthorne Cottage Craft, is actually sent down some of her amazing bags. And she hasn't been making bags recently, so I consider myself extremely lucky to have these beautiful pieces of stitch mastery. And we also have my local amazing sewist, Terry, from My Cottage Number 9. And I will put all these links down below, and I'm going to link them all on the website today, I've decided, just now. So I'm going to do that. So she's coming and she's going to bring some project bags. She's making these gorgeous little butterfly drawstring bags with, they're kind of embroidered butterfly with like a natural linen, I think. We'll find out at the retreat. I'm so excited. I need one. They're so cute. They're little like little sock sacks, I think she called them. So cute. So they are going to be gorgeous. Then we also have Margarita from Your Wool is coming up from Cork to sell her beautiful yarn. And Margarita's actually a spinner first, and then a knitter, and then a yarn dyer. So that was really interesting. She opened up her yarn shop in the summer around the same time as me, actually. So I love her yarn. It's beautiful, beautiful. She has a red that I'm just dying to get my hands on. It's beautiful. If you're not bringing it, Margaret, it's okay, but just one day, I'm going to get that. So we also have, I'm extremely privileged to have S-Twist coming with some of his yarn. I am really excited about that. So excited about that. He's also giving a talk at about 2 p.m. In the Forge Bar. And we are going to just kind of learn about his experiences being the only person in Ireland to create 100% Irish wool from Irish sheep from the mountains where we are going to be looking out on these mountains that he's going to, like, we're going to be spotting the sheep that is in the wool. Like, it's just like the distance is in about the space of about 7 kilometers. Like, you can't get more local. So I'm totally honored to have Diarmuid come on and come along to the retreat. So, and he's a tip man, so, you know, gotta love it. So, and apparently it's quite rare that he comes and gives talks, so it's a really special day. So everything is free to attend, but it's basically a marketplace, so do bring your pennies. Cash is preferred, although I hopefully will have access to, I've got a sum up machine, which I'm kind of interested. It's my tester. If this works, fantastic. If the signal is not great in the Tipperary mountains, cash. Cash is king. So yeah, I don't want anyone to be disappointed in that. I can also deal with PayPal transactions, again depending on signal on my phone, so we'll see about that. So I really hope that people are interested in coming. I will also have my spinning wheel set up for people to have a go with some sample fleece that I've just carded up myself actually, which, oh, let me show you that actually. Ah, it's so cute. Look at the fluffy. So this is fleece from farmers, myself and Liz. Actually, Liz found the wool. It is a... Beans, are you pretending to be a ghost? Stop. I'm just over here sniffing my fleece. Romney. It's Romney. Romney. It's so nice. Oh, it's so fluffy. So I'm gonna have loads of this there for people to test and spin and see if they like it. I'm also gonna have my 16-inch rigid heddle loom. It's all going to be all warped up and ready to weave. I'm going to be showing people how to do that and giving them a go. It's very quick to pick up and it's super relaxing. So if you fancy coming along to try any of those things, you're more than welcome. There's also going to be an opportunity to sign up to the guild at the event as well. Again, depending on internet, but I will have some details on how to sign up to the guild when you get internet yourself. So that is what's going on. I'm really excited about the event. My dad has also volunteered himself to lead a walk on Sunday morning up. He's got a few ideas. It's not going to be a very strenuous walk. It's going to be lovely. There are a few B&Bs around if you're interested in organising your own stay. And there is, of course, the Glenavacherloe Hotel if you fancy on making a spur-of-the-moment decision to come down for the weekend and hang out with us. That's totally cool too. If you need more information, please don't hesitate to contact me on any of the ways that you can. Probably the most official way is to contact me at grace@babblestravellingyarns.com. That's my kind of business email. So if you are interested in maybe organising yourself to come down and check into a B&B or one of the other hotels in the Glen, totally fine with that. I'd love to see you. Be great. So now that's the retreat. I'm so excited. It's gonna be glorious. So, now let's get on a little bit. I do want to talk about what I'm wearing. So I just received this in the post. This is from one of my fabulous sample knitters, LaRue. It's gorgeous. This is the Pebble Beach Shawl by Helen Stewart, and it is made out of my my yarn. It's made out of Bright Eyes and Ice Fall, and it's gorgeous. Hasn't she done a great job? Oh, it's so pretty. So I believe there was about 20 grams left of 100 grams merino. This is in my merino sock base, which is 75% merino, 25% nylon, and it is a 2-ply. I think it's a 4-ply actually. Yes, it's 4-ply, and it's gorgeous. Oh, it's so big. It's so lovely. So the Pebble Beach Shawl, it is one of the first, actually I believe I bought this pattern in a yarn story shop, and it's the first pattern I ever bought on Ravelry from an indie designer, and I bought it in the store and I never did it. I've never made it, but now one of my beautiful testers has made it. Thank you so much, LaRue, all the way over in America, yay. And it's just beautiful. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing today. So you'll be able to see this at Woolinn and also at the retreat. I'm going to bring them all because they're so cozy, and it's great actually to show people you know, different patterns and designs and what they actually look like in real life. And also I'm an enabler. It's what I do. That's fine. So I want to talk a little bit about something very special which arrived in the post. So I was talking to Lisa of Woolinn Dublin, which I'm going to be exhibiting at. Let me get the... I was asking for more of these because more information about Woolinn will be there at the event as well. So I was asking for more of these little flyers because I've been sending them out with all my packages for people that have bought the pins, the enamel pins that I have also somewhere. I'm not very organized. But these are my little enamel pins. So these have been, they're pretty much the only, I think there's 2 other things in the shop at the moment. And this and these, and I've got loads and loads of these. And the reason that I don't have, I think a lot of people are favoriting the shop and favoriting this item because they're waiting for the shop to be refilled with yarn to make postage worth it. Unfortunately, I just don't have the time to dye yarn for the shop as well as for Woolinn. Woolinn is my, and my retreat. So Woolinn and the retreat are my main focus, and unfortunately I won't be able to fill the shop. I won't be able to update the shop on Etsy until after Woolinn and after the Rhodes retreat. But it's going to be a huge update after that. So keep an eye out. If you can't make Woolinn, keep an eye out for the shop after in June. At the start of June, there's going to be a massive update. It's going to be huge. So if you want to, just head over and favorite the shop just so you'll be able to find it again pretty easily. And yeah, there'll be a few little surprise giveaways of pins in orders from that big huge giveaways or big huge update. So let's talk about Woolinn. Sorry, I got distracted. So Woolinn is going to be on Friday the 25th to Sunday the 27th. The marketplace is going to be on Friday and Saturday, and it's going to be at Alsa Sports and Social Complex just by Dublin Airport. So you can actually fly in for the day. You don't even need accommodation really. But I heard that Hannah from the Crafty Chat podcast, or A Corner of Craft, is coming, and I'm so excited! I get to squish her again. Oh my god, my face went super red. Redness. Anyway, that's how exciting I am. Excited I am! It's so exciting. I can't wait. Yeah. Drinks, Hannah. Drinks. So, yes. What was I talking about? Woolinn. Oh yeah. So, sorry, I was talking about Lisa. Lisa sent me on a little prize for the podcast. So I'm going to be giving away. She sent me beautiful things. So there are some sponsors of Woolinn, and one of them is Donegal Studio. So Studio Donegal. Sorry. I keep saying that wrong. Studio Donegal. And these are the beautiful skeins. I think there's just a bit of a rebrand. They're the same company. Oh, is it? Hang on, 1 second. 1 second. 4.5. Gauge. Where's my gauge? Yep. 100 grams, 200 meters, and this is 190 meters. 100 grams. So this one is slightly more, 190 grams, 190 meters per 100 grams. This one I'd say is like a worsted. I'm holding it upside down. I'm sorry, that's rude. So this is a worsted. Now, okay, so Studio Donegal is made in Ireland. It's made in Donegal, as you might imagine. And they do use a huge amount of Irish fleece and Irish wool. It's probably about 50%, so I heard tell. And it has this beautiful, so Studio Donegal are extremely well known for their tweeds and their woven wraps, but especially the tweed kind of style of knitting yarns. There's a really excellent little video that I'm going to link down below, actually, where the current owner of Studio Donegal talks about the mill. They have a really good Instagram page as well, where they like take you into the mill and they show you what they're warping up on their massive looms, and it's really good. They're mesmerizing as well. And do you know what I am obsessed with is time lapse. I'm obsessed with a weaving time lapse. Obsessed. I will stand and stare at it I could replay it 50,000 million times. It doesn't even matter. I love it. So they have a really good Instagram page, but I just love this. Hang on, this color, like just 1 minute. This is the most stunning pink, and it's got these little flecks of greens and peaches and kind of like a little bit of gray in there. It's gorgeous. So this is 100 grams, 200 meters per 100 grams. And it's about 218 yards. So this is a DK weight, I would say. This would make a stunning jumper. I'm thinking Carbeth, if you had enough of it. It's gorgeous. I was up in This Is Knit in Dublin. Lisa was saying that these are flying out the door. This colour is just beautiful. It's a little bit more peachy, like not peachy, but a little lighter pink than it's showing up here. It's showing up like a bit brighter pink there, but it's stunning. I love it. I love it. And I'm not a pink girl now, but it's kind of just a little bit more complex than that. And I love it matched with this. I really think that these can be interchanged. I mean, these can work together. I was thinking like, ooh, someone who wins it might get like, do like a colourwork hat or something, or colourwork mittens. Oh, colourwork mittens! They might be too close in tone to do like a really, really bright colourwork, but it might be lovely as a subtle colourwork or edging or striping or something. So pretty. So I got these, and then they also sent me this amazing, so they're also sponsored by the Fibre Company. So this is Acadia. Oh, and it's got this supremely gorgeous little neps, except I think, what is this? Oh yeah, 60% merino wool, 20% baby alpaca and 20% silk. So you see these little neps in there? They seem to be all, they look like they're all silk. And it looks like a natural shade. Let me just read out. So this yarn has been intentionally handcrafted with subtle texture and colour variances. Due to its unique nature, we recommend buying enough yarn to complete your project, blah, blah, blah. And that's normal. Alternate skeins, yeah, for a blended effect. So this is driftwood, Acadia driftwood. And this is DK weight, so it's 50 grams. So it's 100 grams. So you get 100 grams of Acadia. So these are 50 grams each. It is so soft. Oh, beautiful. So I'm thinking of doing a giveaway on the retreat open day with one of these, and then doing a giveaway on the podcast for the other. I think that, oh, I don't know. Let's just randomly choose. You can't randomly choose from two. This is going to be the podcast. I've just decided. This is going to be for people who show up at the open day. I'm going to do a little prize, kind of like maybe a raffle or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe just people who show up. So you can get your hands on some beautiful Acadia. Gorgeous. So this is going to be the podcast prize. Yay! So I'm going to probably put it in the Ravelry. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a Ravelry group, and I want you to pop over there and say, what is the prompt? Okay, so the prompt is going to be, are you coming to Woolinn? Would you be interested in coming next year? And if you aren't coming to Woolinn, what is your favourite fibre festival, fibre or yarn festival that you like going to? And yeah, tell me why. So yeah, that's going to be the prompt. It's going to be over in the Ravelry page. I'm so excited. Okay, great. Thank you so much to the Woolinn team for sending me down a little giveaway prize. I am so excited. So excited. Right, enough of that. Never enough. So have you heard about the cowl that's going on for Woolinn? It's called the Woolinn Wardrobe. And I have a bit of sad news. So I've actually developed, I think, a little bit of golfer's elbow. Beans, will you stop? So I've developed a bit of golfer's elbow, which means that I've got pain inside here, which is quite sore, especially when I'm knitting. So I have not been knitting as much, which makes me think that there is no way that I'm going to be able to do I really wanted to do a garment. I really wanted to do a garment by Justyna Lakowska called Nugget, which is a pattern that I received as a gift on my birthday, I believe, last year. From, I can't remember who sent it to me, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And I've got the yarn dyed up, ready to go, and it would have qualified for the Woolinn wardrobe giveaway. So I can't really, I just have to not knit so much, which is the saddest thing you've ever heard, isn't it? Anyway, I am doing exercises. I am watching, I watched Fruity Knitting's podcast on the episode where Andrea talks about it, and I have been doing exercises. I've been taking painkillers to relieve the inflammation and all of that jazz. Don't worry, I got a ton of advice. But the main thing to do is rest. So unfortunately, I don't think that I'm going to be able to, well, I might, there is one thing I could do for the Woolinn wardrobe, which I'm working on very slowly. But basically, to enter into the Woolinn wardrobe competition is knit a pattern by one of the featured designers or teachers at Woolinn. So Justyna Lakowska would have qualified, or I think knit something in a yarn from a Woolinn vendor. So anything from my yarn would qualify. If you're knitting with my yarn at all, totally pop over to Ravelry and have a little, I'll link where all the giveaways are happening down there, and there's going to be some pop-up giveaway prizes from the Woolinn team. So exciting. So anything from my yarn qualifies, or any of the other Woolinn vendors. So have a little look at the list. If you want to pop over to the website, have a look at the list. And if you are knitting anything by any of the Woolinn vendors or any of the designers, you should totally enter, because there's amazing spot prizes going to be given up. Knowing Lisa, she's just so generous. Lisa and the whole Woolinn team. Can't just say Lisa. So that is really exciting. I really want to do it. I mean, I am also knitting a shawl, so I could technically put it in. I'm knitting a shawl, but I haven't touched it in weeks. This hasn't gone anywhere. This is the Ashling shawl by Justyna Lakowska as well. It's gorgeous. It's so pretty. It's from my yarn, so it actually qualifies twice. This is August Skies. That's my cat. This is Sydney Spring. So yeah, anything in my yarn would qualify. Oh, I'm also actually, maybe, does it have to be a finished object? I don't know. I need to go over and look, because I also am knitting Ada by LB Hand Knits, who is, I believe, going to be there at Apple Oak Fiberworks. So I am knitting this as well. For more information, have a look at my previous posts. I haven't knit anything on it at the moment because of the elbow. So what are you gonna do? But yeah, so that's really exciting. Yay, Woolinn wardrobe. So I also want to talk a little bit about a spinning FO. A spinning FO. So some of you may remember, if you've been watching for a while, may remember that I received, or I bought on a D-stash on Ravelry, a Hello Fibre Club from March 2013. I was obsessed with it. I found it on Instagram. Someone posted a picture during, I think it was in January, there was a We Make Yarn hashtag, and there was like a whole thing about spinning, and it was great. And I found so much more yarn that I need to buy. So this is the one that I found, and I begged people for on the Hello Yarn, or yeah, on the Hello Yarn Fibre Club board on Ravelry, and someone sent me it. I finally finished it. So taking advice from Spinny Buns, I love her. I also did a review on her book, which has been released. It's called A New Spin on Colour. If you're interested, pop back a few episodes and have a little look at that. So I took off a little strip of fibre as a reference. And this is the cutest flippin' thing I have ever done in my entire life. It's so cute. So I made a little crochet chain. It's so small. So it's a little crochet chain just to remind myself of how the yarn was dyed. And this is a really interesting way of kind of referring back to what you end up with when you split the yarn in certain ways. So this was the way, like the whole braid was this long. Actually, it was 3 times this long. This braid has been crocheted. So it was 3 times this long, but it was dyed in essentially a quarter different color. Every quarter was a different color. So it was blue, and then this gorgeous browns, which mixed in with this kind of bright mustardy yellows and tans, and then it kind of does this gorgeous green thing there, and then back into the teals and the blues, and then yeah, the same thing repeats again essentially. So it looks like the braid was dyed like this, right? So I decided to try, I really wanted, the skein of yarn that I saw on Instagram was like a really, there was a lot of barber pulling in it, and it was gorgeous. It was so pretty. I really wanted to replicate it. So I decided to strip the braid in half. Then I stripped the other braid into lots of tiny little sections. So I stripped it down into bits finer than this almost, and I did lots of really quick repeats, and I spun that up into one bobbin. And then the second part I only split in half, and then I spun that so that hopefully it would work out. I'm not sure if it did or not. I'll show you. What I really want to do is I want to weave this and see what happens. But it's so flippin' beautiful. Oh my gosh. Here it is. Oh my god. I think I got what I wanted. You know, there's a load of this barber pulling, which I'm in love with. There's also this really like solid part there, and there's like a solid part here as well. So I think it matched up when I was plying them together. The blues matched up sometimes, and then the browns matched up sometimes, and then I'd say about 50% of the time they matched up, and then the other 50% they marled into this beautiful, oh, it's so pretty. Let me see if I can make. So here, if you can see, it focuses better on the back camera. I'm half thinking of investing in the X, the iPhone X or the 10 or whatever it is, so I can get the autofocus on the front camera as well. But isn't this beautiful? Stunning. So the yarn didn't all fit on one bobbin, which I'm so annoyed about. So I have this tiny little mini skein as well, which is quite cute. So I'm going to, this was, it was made of like, didn't really say which breed, it was just limited edition American wool blend top. So it was just American wool. So now I've got these little samples. So let me see, does this work out? I am in love with this little braid. It's just so cute. And I was just dying to finish this. I was so close to finishing it. But my arm was really, really sore, but I kind of pushed through. I think that was a bad idea, but I just desperately, I was so close to finishing it. So close. So I did. Love it. I love it. And I love this little thing. So I am really excited. I'm going to do that for everything, I think, even though you're losing a bit of yardage in this little sample, but at the same time, you know how, you know, you've got a reference. I don't know where to put the reference. I don't really have a book big enough for, you know, I should really, but I don't. It's just the nicest. Cute, 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 cute. Love them. I love it. Love it. So I'm going to weave this. I don't know if I want to do warp or weft with this. I don't think it's strong enough for a warp. So there we go. It's a weft. Great. So I've also had something super special happen the last couple of weeks. I was interviewed by Nadia of the Cottage Notebook podcast, and she did a glorious interview with me, an audio interview, just about me. So if you are new, and you don't know my story about how I started podcasting, and just kind of information about me, if you're interested, pop over to the Cottage Notebook podcast. It is episode, oh fudge, I've forgotten. Oh, I know, it's horrendous, isn't it, Beans? Do I've forgotten? So the podcast is season 2, episode 7, with Babbles Travelling Yarns. So you can head over to the Facebook, or to the cottagenotebook.ie, or also you can listen to it on iTunes or on any other area that you listen to podcasts. So it was really lovely doing an interview with Nadia. She's so... it's so nice having people like ask you questions and be interested in what you're doing and your story. And I've got a lot of stories, so there's a lot of stories in that. And we talk a lot about the guild, and we talk about Woolinn, and we also talk about my retreat. And yeah, so head over there if you're interested. It was an absolute treat to get interviewed by her. It was glorious, and you should watch all the rest of her podcasts as well, or listen to them. They're so great. So I just want to do a little disclaimer before I go into the next section. I talk very frankly about the 8th Amendment and the proposal to repeal the 8th Amendment to allow free, safe abortion in Ireland. If this is something you do not want to hear about, thank you so much for joining me today. I loved talking with you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for loving and commenting. And yeah, love you lots. Bye. And if you do want to stay to listen about my personal feelings and opinions on the repealing the 8th Amendment, please do join me. But do be aware, I do get a little bit emotional because it's a very emotional topic, and I hope you'll be open-minded and be careful about how you respond, because I do get very emotional and I do get a bit angry, but I do want to be honest, and let you know how I feel and what I want for my country going forwards. Ta-da! Please don't hate me. So I want to talk a little bit now. I want to just talk about something quite serious. So we're getting into serious talk, and it's associated with the whip that I'm working on very slowly because of my arm. And I shouldn't just stop knitting it all together, but I can't, because I love it so much. So I'm actually knitting with Studio Donegal. I'm actually knitting with this exact skein, this exact colour. I skeined it up and it just looks so good in this skein, doesn't it? Oh, it's so pretty. It's just gorgeous. And I've heard actually that this actually blooms crazily, and I cannot remember who is working with it at the moment. It might be Yarn Flakes. Is it Yarn Flakes or Fluffy Fibres? I don't know. No. Is it Dunkelgrun? Is it Anna from the Dunkelgrun podcast? They're my 3 favourites at the moment, those 3 podcasts. Fluffy Fibres, Yarn Flakes, and Dunkelgrun. Because they're lovely and they're just so full of interesting, especially Anna. She's just, her most recent podcast talks about like the rare breed sheep in Switzerland, and she went to this big open day and she got some amazing footage of like how they wash it and card it, and I was like, that looks like how I wash it. I'm like, if this big place does it like that. I wish I had that drum carder though, that'd be amazing. So yeah, sorry, anyway, so somebody was saying that this fluffs up crazily, so this is going to be gorgeous. So I'm actually really nervous about talking about this because it is a very hot button issue in Ireland at the moment. Oh, I'm scared. No, don't be scared, Grace. It's very important. You've got to talk about it. I might get a little bit emotional, and I'm sorry, but it's my emotions. And I can't really hold them in. So I'm currently knitting a hat that is designed by the Loveliest Yarn Co. I saw this on an Instagram post on Coitin Bjug, who is the lovely Marna. Now Marna is an Irish woman who's living in England, and up until very recently I was an Irish woman living in England, and there was a very good reason why. Well, I couldn't get the points to get into the course I wanted to get into in Scotland, but also at the time, and still at this moment in time, if I was to get pregnant, I lose human rights. I lose my human rights to decide what to do with my body. I lose the right to consent to specific treatment or refuse specific treatment. Especially when it comes to the fetus that would be growing inside me. I lose my rights because in the 1980s, let me just get my details because I gotta get details right. It's about facts. In 1983, changes were voted into the referendum to prevent abortion ever becoming legal in Ireland. This was because there was a big thing starting all over America and Canada where abortion was being brought into kind of law as normal and safe kind of women's health care. They didn't want to do that in Ireland because it's a Catholic country. I don't think that's a good enough excuse. It's been illegal in Ireland by law since 1861, and it still is. There are certain reasons why one can have an abortion. There's been 20 in the last 2 years, I believe. So a lot of these numbers are very difficult to get because there's a lot of stuff going on in secret, because it is illegal to have an abortion for various reasons, apart from various reasons like threat of life to the mother. Now, the threat of risk of life to the mother rule has only come in 2013 after the death of Savita Praveen Halpanavar, who died when she miscarried, and during the miscarrying process she asked for an abortion. She asked for it to be hurried along safely, but because there was still a heartbeat, they refused. She died a couple of days later from sepsis, because she was refused an abortion at the right time, which would have saved her life. So that law that a woman can only have an abortion if there's a risk of life to the mother was only brought in 2013, which is when I qualified in England. Now, I left Ireland because of the recession, because of a lot of things, but after I heard this, I knew I was never coming back until something had changed. After the results of Brexit and certain things changed at home, and there was a whiff of the possibility of this law that was made in 1983, that this amendment to our constitution, which is the 8th amendment to the constitution, there was a whiff that it might be repealed, it might actually happen. So I decided I needed to come back. Because if there's a lot of opposition to it in Ireland, there's a huge amount of opposition to changing the law. And it scares me to death that people in Ireland will not give rights to a woman who is pregnant, will not give any rights, because the fetus is more important. So a few little amendments have been made over the last couple of years, but the 8th amendment gives equal rights to the fetus and the mother, even in the case of rape, incest, and fatal fetal abnormalities, such as a baby not being born with a skull, or various syndromes which will cause the baby to die the second it is born, or die in the womb. As you know, we know that that will happen, and that does happen. So there has been talks that this will happen, that they will hold a referendum to change the amendment, and it's going to happen at the end of May. We don't have a date yet. We don't have any information, but there are currently posters all around Ireland for the people who want it to stay, who want us to vote no, don't change it, keep it the way it is. I don't know where this money's coming from. Actually, we do know where the money's coming from. The money is not coming from Ireland. It is coming from America. And it has been coming from America since this idea came in. I don't know why they think that they have anything to do with my country. They don't. But there's a lot of money coming in to fund the advertising of really horrific pictures all over Ireland on massive billboards, posters stuck up everywhere. Horrible, horrible pictures. It's horrendous. I was talking on the VKN last night, and one of the women's daughters just got back from Ireland, and she couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe the horrible falsehoods and fake information that was being put out about it. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. I'm obviously going to be voting to repeal the 8th Amendment to give women rights to choose what to do with their body and their lives. There's an amazing website which I'm going to be linking down below, which is probably going to be way more articulate than I am. I think that they have a really good like facts and fiction section, you know. So in Ireland, I'll just talk a little bit about what it's like to be a woman in Ireland if you don't want to continue with a pregnancy. So if there is a risk to the life of the mother, including a physical illness or an emergency, or if you are suicidal, you can have an abortion. However, the suicide thing, it takes 6 doctors agreeing that a woman is suicidal, and it leads to late-term abortions, which is emotionally and physically traumatizing and very dangerous for the mother because it's delayed so much. You have to go through all this procedure and go to the courts. Woman only has 9 months. I mean, less than that, hopefully. So you cannot have an abortion if you are raped and that rape results in a pregnancy. You just cannot. Most people go to England to have abortions in this case. You cannot have an abortion if there is a fatal fetal abnormality. You have to carry it to term. I have heard specifically from doctors who've worked in Ireland that they sometimes don't even tell the mother that there is a fatal abnormality because she won't be able to do anything anyway. So the information is withheld from mothers sometimes. I can't say routinely, that is one story that I've heard. So she has to go, like it was specifically in that case, it was a woman who had a baby with no skull, with no skull. So the brain was there, but there was no skull. So the baby would not have been able to start pregnancy. So the woman would have had to go over and then been induced and then a cesarean section because there was no way it could be delivered properly. And then it would have died. Some women, of course, like it's their choice to carry on with the pregnancy and feel and hold the baby in their arms, and that's totally fine. But other women do not want that and, you know, want to know. We have a right to know what's going on with our own bodies and the results of tests. That's horrible, don't you think? That we're not, there's a risk that I would not be told about something that is very important to my life because, oh, there's nothing she can do anyway. Tough. So if a person is told and if a person finds out that the pregnancy was not viable, or if there's a risk that the baby might die in the womb or anything like that, she will not be offered an abortion. She must either choose to leave the country or wait out the pregnancy and go through the pregnancy and have the baby and then it die. So she has to go through that traumatic occasion. The second the baby dies, then she gets healthcare. Then she gets everything. But up until that moment, she has to wait. They won't do anything. So it's estimated that up to 10 women per day leave Ireland's shores. to have an abortion in foreign countries, either England or other parts of the world, other parts of Europe. A totally unknown number of women get abortion pills in the post, and these are seized, and if a woman is linked to that, they can suffer up to 14 years in prison. So the child's early development stage of life is sacrificed. Anyway, so, you know. So the UN Committee on Human Rights has actually stated that being forced to continue a pregnancy and being denied the option to end it has been described as torture. The UN and the EU and the World Health Organization has condemned Ireland's status on abortion several times as absolutely arcane and horrendous. That's my words, but it's effectively the same thing. So they say that 150,000 women have travelled overseas since 1980. In 2012, 382 women gave Republic of Ireland addresses in England in abortion clinics. So the myth that abortion doesn't happen in Ireland is incorrect. These are Irish abortions. These are Irish women who have had to travel. And these are only the women who can afford to travel, who can afford to take time off work, who don't have other family members or illness or anything else holding them back. So the rest of the women are either forced to continue the pregnancy, or they have to run the risk of ordering in pills and getting arrested and put into prison for 14 years. There is also this story that the other side are putting around, that most women suffer depression and regret. And the HSE Crisis Pregnancy Programme did a study, and 87% of women said it was the right choice for them. And that's the key word here, is choice. There are several reasons why people do it. It is not an easy choice. There's also the idea, I've heard a lot of people who are talking about it, it's quite an insulting and patronising and degrading reason why they think that it shouldn't be allowed, and that is that women will use abortion as a contraceptive. You can't, because contraceptive means before birth, so that's irrelevant. But also the idea that women will go through that horrific process instead of taking a pill or using a condom. Also, regardless to that, there has been a study, a South Australian study, that women using a contraceptive, most women were using a contraceptive when they became pregnant, because contraceptive is not 100%. So what do you say then? Like, they were trying their hardest to, use it properly, but there's many reasons why it doesn't work. Or in case of rape or abusive partners who control contraceptive, or sabotage of contraceptive, it happens. Poor sex education as well, or loss or poor access to information. There's also the idea of the people being falsely believing to be infertile, say women who've gone through the menopause but still get pregnant, not gone through but are going through the menopause. It's still a period where you can get pregnant. It's incredibly risky to have it at that age, and they might already have like 4 children who are going through college, and they can't afford to have another child. They can't afford to stay in work for another 20-30 years because they're, their life, they physically can't do it. They're about to retire, and it can happen. It does happen. And some people obviously can choose to carry on and do that, and it's very selfless of them. I would hate to be in that position. But I would also, there's also people who don't want to do that and who want to give their time to the people that they already are giving their time to. I mean, I think the main thing is, to me, is respecting the women who make these choices. It seems that a fetus having the same rights as a fully grown woman who has a job, who might have other children, who has like mother, father, maybe they're dependent on her for care, maybe she already has other children, maybe she already has a disabled child which she's like given up her life to care for, and she can't, she has all these other roles in her life, but she can't make a choice about where she wants her life to go. She can't make that choice. She's stuck. She only has the choice to leave the country on her own, under this cloud of shame, to manage to keep her life on track, to sort her, to be her own woman. And crisis pregnancies happen. They do happen. They happen every day. They just do. Abortions happen. You can't ban abortion. You can only ban safe abortion. So there's also this theory that abortion rates will rise if abortion, the ban is lifted, or the almost ban is lifted. And that has been proven to be not true in actually all countries where abortion has been legalized. For example, in France, they actually have a higher birth rate per woman, even though they have access to easily accessible abortion. I'm really sorry if any of these things that I've spoken about have like deeply affected anyone. It deeply affects me. It's the reason I've not had a child yet. It's the reason that I may never have a child. I've also a number of reasons why, but that is the main one. I will never try, but I can't guarantee that because, like I said, contraceptive is not 100%. So living in Ireland as a woman is a risk, is a very big risk. There's so much more that I can say, but I'm going to leave links down below if anyone is interested in reading up on it. There are places you can donate to help the Yes cause, or the Repeal cause. And I will put those details below. I have put in a couple of whatever I could afford. I have donated myself. I'm thinking about going out and canvassing, but I'm also completely terrified because the other side are using such horrible tactics, just really degrading tactics to basically say that women are horrible killers, and we shouldn't be given the rights over our own bodies because it's our bodies that do the hard work. Another really, like, there's so much to think about, but the last time that we voted on this was 1980, when was it? 1980, 1983. Since 1983, no one of childbearing age has ever voted on this at this moment in time. The earliest, I think the youngest person alive now is around 49, 50. So they are currently, they could still have kids, but I don't, it's not quite safe. But also, it's none of their business. Personally, we need to have a say. Irish women need to step up. Irish men need to step up and help us out here because we're currently trapped by our own legal and religious attitudes. So I think it's something really important to me, and it's something really important to Irish people around the world who are not coming back because of this reason. They do exist. And I realize I haven't even talked about what I was doing. So I'm going to show you this really cool pattern. So this is a pattern by the lovely Yarn Co. It's a free pattern on Ravelry if you're interested. Yeah, it's a really nice hat. Actually, it's lovely to knit. I'm already through most of the hat. So it's the same style as a pussy hat because it is, feminism. And also, but it's got this really cool color work, and I'm just getting around to the right edge so that you can see it. So It says Repeal on it. So this yarn is 100% merino from, where is it from? Briar Patch Yarns. They have their merino blend, and it was the only kind of white that was ready to kind of, it was already skeined up, and it looks gorgeous in this. And look at this merino, look at this Donegal. I really can't wait to wash it because I'm knitting this on a 4.5mm needle. I think I should really use a 5, but they're the only ones I had, and I actually love the fabric I'm getting. It's really dense and warm and lovely. So I did a little, so I'm just going to go straight up and then just Kitchener across the top, just like a pussycat hat. So it's so cool. I'm going to link it down below. I love this hat for various reasons. It's really fun to knit. I love the yarn. It's gorgeous. So it's Studio Donegal yarn. It's Irish yarn. And I also love the conversations that I'm having while knitting it. So in work, I was talking to a couple of people and the conversation sparked because of this hat. And it was really good because it made me think, I think it's important to listen to the other side. I understand and I have thought about a lot of the arguments that people have put to me that they think it's a bad idea to repeal the 8th. And I'm still not convinced. I have listened and I have thought about it, and I literally cannot think of a reason why we should keep it, which is why I'm voting the opposite way. I think a lot of people are misinformed. They don't understand what is going on. They haven't really looked it up. They're not really too bothered. They have their idea and that's it. And I think that's the wrong way to do it. I think people really need to, really need to learn about how it affects young women and pregnant women at this moment in time. And they need to read the stories. There are some real stories on the website that I've just put down there. All the names have been changed, of course, because they could, you know, be arrested. But it's important to listen and not throw shame on women for ending up in situations that they want to get out of and they can get out of. And it's possible for them to redeem themselves, you know, not redeem themselves, but, you know, gain their life back or make their life go in a way that they wanted to go, you know. There's not great sexual education in Irish schools. So if a 12-year-old, God forbid, or, you know, I'll say God forbid, but it's just kind of a phrase. But if a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old ends up getting pregnant because they don't know how babies are made, because they haven't had proper sexual education, whose fault is that? Our system currently blames the 13-year-old child who doesn't know anything because she's not been taught, she's not been educated, and there's no way she can get out of it. That's her life now. She's ruined. To, you know, to phrase it properly. I mean, if she wants to keep it, she wants to keep it, but she has to be educated and she has to be given the choice. So if anyone knows Ireland and knows Ireland's history with women and pregnancy, you might have heard of the Magdalen laundries. The last Magdalen laundry closed in 1990. It was my art college in Limerick School of Art and Design. 1990. Women who got pregnant outside of wedlock were put in there to work off their debt. It was run by the church, run by nuns, and they were basically given a job until they were pregnant, until they gave birth. The children were put in a separate orphanage. They were not allowed to keep their children, and the children were sold to America. If you're interested, there is several documentaries about, well, not documentaries, they're kind of dramatizations about it. One is the Magdalen Laundries, I think it's called the Magdalen Sisters, and then the other one is called Philomena, and Dame Judi Dench does the most amazing Irish accent I've ever heard. She is amazing, but she talks all about, or that whole film is fantastic. It's got Steve Coogan and Philomena, and it is a true story. I used to work in a nursing home and there was a woman there who had come straight from the Magdalen Laundries. She was basically institutionalized. She was never let out. You weren't let out unless your family paid £100 for you to get out, which is an astronomical amount of money. Most people, like a lot of women, ended up living their whole lives in this prison, becoming institutionalized. And there was this one woman who had come there, and she died of Alzheimer's, or I can't remember exactly what, but 2 weeks later, her son arrived from America to catch her things. He had never met her, and they finally released her documents. After she died, he'd been searching for her for 30 years. And they did not give any information. They would not give any information out. This happens in Ireland. It needs to stop happening. It needs to stop. And this is the first step of several thousand steps which need to happen. Now, a lot of these things like Magdalen Laundries don't happen anymore, and there can be single mothers are around, and they're accepted, and they have jobs and they have support. That's fantastic. But if someone does not want to be a single mother for various reasons, and she still has time to make that decision, she should have that right, in my opinion. I hope that I've not offended anyone, but I probably know that I probably have. I'm sorry if I have offended you, but it's my beliefs, it's my country, it's my body, it's my life that's at risk in my own country. And if you think I'm being dramatic, you're wrong, because I am. This is happening. This does happen. And you know what? If you don't want to have an abortion, perfect, fine. Do you know what? That's totally reasonable and totally fine. You know, if something happens where medically this is the most important thing that could happen to save my life and prevent my suffering and the suffering of my child, then that's what's going to happen. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm not pregnant. Thank God. So I don't know where to go from there. I don't know really what to say. I feel like it's something I really need to say. I need to talk about, because we've only got a couple of weeks left, and I have this platform, and it is a responsible platform. You know, I put up an Instagram post about this hat, about this Repeal hat, and I was terrified that I would lose 1,000 followers. Like, everyone would just jump ship, because they're like, oh, you know, I watch this thing because of, you know, yarn, I want knitting, and I want happiness, and I don't want politics, and I don't want this, and I don't want that. And I'm like, well, goodbye. But I was scared to lose followers. I was scared to lose people off of just the numbers, which is kind of really selfish and horrible of me, because you're not numbers. You are people. You are people with feelings and emotions, and you have clicked that subscribe button because you want to see more of me. You want to be kept up to date with my life, and this is my life. This is what's going on. I'm scared. I'm really scared. And this is the only thing I can do. This is the only place that is mine that I can say, please, please help. It's not the horrible bombings in Syria, and it's not a horrible famine, but it's my life and my future and the future of any children that I may have, and the rights of women in Ireland. If you can, vote, vote. If you can't, I really recommend spreading the word, talking about it with friends and family. Maybe if you feel like you can, a donation to the Together for Yes campaign to combat the horrible pictures that are going up on all the posters, and to promote people talking about it, and hopefully by the summer women might be safer. So